Hello, I'm Ron Strickland. This webcast is one of a series in which I'm presenting some brief lectures and commentaries on topics from the courses I teach in literature and cultural studies. This particular installment is the fifth in a group on the Wife of Bath's Prologue from Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. In earlier videos, I discussed the first part of the Wife of Bath's Prologue, in which she describes her experience in her first 4 marriages, and along the way she engages in a comic debate with the Catholic Church about the subjects of sex and marriage. I pick up her account here as she describes her 5th husband. Although she is 40 years old by now, and this young man is only 20 years old, that's no obstacle for her. Alas, that ever love was sin, by virtue of the state of the heavens at my birth, that made me that I could not withdraw my chamber of Venus from any good fellow. Yet I have Mars mark upon my face, and also in another private place. She must have a birthmark somewhere private, she won't tell us where. Whereas God may be my salvation, I never loved in moderation, but always followed my appetite, whether he were short, or long, or black, or white. I took no keep, as long as they pleased me. How poor he was, nor else what of rank. What should I say, but at the month's end, this jolly clerk, this Janikin, who was so courteous, had wedded me with great solemnity. He was 20, she was 40, now they're married. For the first time in her life, since she was 12 years old, she's got herself a handsome young man, after marrying all of these old men. Well, it's not going to be a perfect, happy marriage at first. To him, I gave all the land and property that ever was given to me before then. But afterward, I repented me bitterly. He would not allow me anything of my desires. By God, he hit me once on the ear because I tore a leaf out of his book, so that of the stroke, my ear became all deaf. She was some deal deaf. Remember the general prologue I mentioned to you? That's one of the first things that the narrator says. Now we know why. Her 5th husband boxed her on the ear because she jumped up and tore a page out of this book he was reading and quoting from. Now we're going to hear about this book. Now will I tell you the truth by St. James, why I tore a leaf out of this book, for which he hit me so hard that I was deaf. He had a book that regularly, night and day, for his amusement, he would always read. He called it Valerie and Theophrastus, at which book he always heartily laughed. And also, there was once a clerk at Rome, a cardinal, who was called Saint Jerome, that made a book against Jovinian, in which book also there was Tertullian, Chrysippus, Trotula, and Heloise, that was abbess, not far from Paris. And also the Parables of Solomon, Ovid's Art, and many other books. And all these were bound in one volume. And every night and day was his custom, when he had leisure and spare time from other worldly occupations, to read in this book of wicked wives. He knew of them more legends and lies than there are good women in the Bible. For trust it well, it is an impossibility that any clerk will speak good of women. But now to the point, why I told thee that I was beaten for a book by God. Upon a night, Janikin, that was master of our house, read on his book, as he sat by the fire, of Eve first, how for her wickedness was all mankind brought to wretchedness, for which Jesus Christ himself was slain, who bought us back with his heart's blood. Lo, here clearly of woman you may find that woman was the cause of the loss of all mankind. Then he read me how Samson lost his hair, sleeping his lover cut it with her shears, through which treason he lost both his eyes. Then he read to me, if I shall not lie, of Hercules and his Dianite, what caused him to set himself on fire. He forgot not a bit of the care and the woe that Socrates had with his 2 wives, how Xanthippe cast piss upon his head. According to legend, Socrates, the philosopher, had a really terrible nagging scold of a wife. So she goes through a long list of these, and we'll skip over a few of them. He's reading night after night, out loud, by the fire, from this book, all these evil women, all the terrible things they did to their husbands. He just can't get enough of it, and she's fed up with it. And concerning this, he knew of more proverbs than in this world there grow grass or herbs. Better it is, he said, thy habitation be with a lion or a foul dragon than with a woman accustomed to scold. Better is, he said, to stay high in the roof than with an angry wife down in the house. They're so wicked and contrary. He said, a woman casts her shame away when she casts off her undergarment. And furthermore, a fair woman, unless she is also chaste, is like a gold ring in a sow's nose. He just has nothing good to say about a woman. If she's beautiful, she's not faithful. If she's ugly, he can't stand her. The wife says, when I saw he would never cease reading on this cursed book all night, all suddenly have I plucked 3 leaves out of his book right as he read, and also I with my fist so hit him on the cheek that in our fire he fell down back, and he leapt up as does a furious lion, and with his fist he hit me on the head, and on the floor I lay as I were dead. And when he saw how still I lay, he was frightened and would have fled on his way, till at last out of my swoon I awoke. Oh, hast thou slain me, false thief, I said, and for my land, thus hast thou murdered me? Before I am dead, yet will I kiss thee. I'm dying, but give me a kiss. And near he came, kneeled gently down, and said, dear Sister Allison, so help me God, I shall never again smite thee. What I have done, it is thyself to blame. You drove me to it, forgive it me. And that I beseech thee. And yet immediately I hit him on the cheek and said, thief, thus much am I avenged. Now will I die, I may no longer speak. But at the last, with much care and woe, we made an agreement between our 2 selves. He gave me all the control in my hand, to have the governance of house and land, and of his tongue and of his hand also, and made him burn his book immediately right then. And when I had gotten unto me, by mastery, all the sovereignty, that he said, mine own true wife, do as you please the rest of all thy life. Guard thy honor, guard also my reputation. After that day, we never had an argument, as God may help me. I was to him as kind as any wife from Denmark into India, and also true, and so he was to me. And they lived happily ever after, for just a little while. And then sadly, Janikin also died. With that, I'll conclude this webcast. But, as always, if you have questions or comments, please don't hesitate to send me an email.